Good morning, it's Mrs. Ludlow. I hope you had a good weekend, Emerald class, and that you're going well this morning. This is our maths PowerPoint for today, and we're going to be having a look at using a grid again to multiply two-digit numbers. Might seem that we're doing this quite a lot. We do have to get used to building our skills using these grids, because this is the method that we'll be using all the way through year 3 and into year 4, so it's really important that we get to grips with it, and so that we can use it for when we're doing things like measurements and time, and yeah, so all of those things. So it's going to be a method that comes in really useful. Okay, so let's have a look at our starter this morning. We're going to have a look at an example that somebody called Tara has completed. She's done her multiplication grid and she's made a mistake. Can you have a look at it and correct it for her? And if you were to help her and give her a helpful hint of how she could perhaps improve her work next time, what would you say to her? What would you tell her? So I'll have a pause of the video now so that you can have a look at it. So did you have a look at her mistake? She had used her grid, she's partitioned it correctly, 30 and 7, 37, and then she's times it by 5. And she's got 5 times 3, and she's got 15, but she's got 5 times 3 tens here, so that's 5 times 30. So this should be, instead of 15, this should be 150. Because we know we can do 5 times 3, we can use that information to getting our tens correct, but she hasn't actually done that here. She's forgotten to move those digits to the left in our place value grid and add a 0 to hold the place value. So that's the mistake that she's made. This should be 150. 5 times 7 is correct, so the final answer should be 185, and that's the answer that we'd put in there. What hint or tip would you give her? Perhaps just to remember that these are not 5 times 3, these are not 3 ones, they are tens. Okay. And if you were doing the call this morning, you would have this one, which is some repeated addition. And again, Tara's been doing her work not very well. She's got the wrong answers here. She's got 2, doing a repeated addition, counting it on in 2s, 4, 6, 8. And she's counting 1 in extra, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which we can double check, so her answer should have been 8. And this one, she's got 3, add 3, add 3, add 3, which does not come out to 9 because that would be 3 lots of 3. So let's have a look and count up in 3s. 3, 6, 9, and we would get 12. So that's her final answer. So let's have a little think and a talk out loud, or talk to somebody if you've got somebody working with you. This is so that we can use the grid to multiply by two-digit numbers. And there's quite a few steps to remember, and hopefully you're getting the hang of it by now. It's quite difficult to tell if you are getting the hang of it, but you know, keep going and keep trying really hard so you build up that knowledge of your times tables as well. And last week I did say about having a little list to help you with your tables, so that you don't have to keep working them out on your fingers. You can take a little list of those and write perhaps your 3 times table out and your 4 times table. You don't have to write them out in full, just the answers. And then you could do your 8s, which is probably going to be quite useful today because I think you've got a few more. Okay, so let's get started. Have a little think and a talk. What would your answer be for this one? How did you multiply it up? So I'm going to get you to stop the video there and have a little pause and think, how would you multiply? How would you do this? And hopefully you've had a little bit of a chance to have a look at that. You've got 8 lots of 2 that you could do, or you could do 2 lots of 8. And we know with multiplications it doesn't matter which way round you do them, they're going to come out the same. We've done lots of work on this, So it's really, you know, key now that if you find you don't know your 8s but you can do 8 lots of 2, then that's going to be a lot quicker for you. So it doesn't really matter which way round. So 8 lots of 2 or 2 lots of 8 is 16, and then we've got to do our whizzy thing, adding our 0, moving the digits one place to the left to get 160, and then 8 times 5 is 40. 5 8s are 40, or 8 5s or 5 8s. 5 lots of 8 or 8 lots of 5. Doesn't matter which way round, and you should get the answer of 40. And you can have a little think about, you know, explain to somebody, have a little talk to somebody about why this number changes to 160 rather than it being 16, and think about those 10s when we do that. So the next thing that we've got to do, we've done a multiplying, we can recombine these two numbers. So we've got 160 plus 40, which is 16 10s plus 4 10s, which is 20 10s, which we know is 200. 160 plus 40 is 200. And then we've got to remember to put that 200 back into our answer. So let's have another little go. We've got this quite high number now we're looking at, and we've got another, it's a 2-digit number, and we're multiplying it by a 1-digit number. As I said before, this is how we're going to do a multiplication of higher numbers, 2-digit numbers in year 3 and into year 4. Got to mind you don't get hit by that snowball. So we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to partition this first number, the second number here, 67, into 60 and 7. I'm going to put that into the top line. 60 and 7, 6 10s, 60 and 7 1s. A multiplication sign, and underneath we're going to put the 1-digit number. Multiplying by 4. 4 lots of 6, 6 4s are 24. We've got 4 lots of 60. We know we've got to move those digits again, and we get 240. We've got 4 times 7 is 28. You could do 7 lots of 4, and you can have that list if you wanted to. We're not working on our 7s or our 6 times tables yet. Those they're year 4 times tables. But if you want to go and try and learn some of those, that's absolutely fine. That will get you really up and ready for your work in year 4, because by the end of year 4 you're expected to know all your tables up to 10 times 10, 10 lots of 10. It's always good to get a head start. So now we're going to recombine these numbers. We've got 240 and 28, which is 24 10s, plus 2 10s and 8 1s, which is 26 10s and 8 1s, which is 260 and 8. Just steadily work through these. This is more likely that that your errors will come here rather than in your multiplications at the moment. Hopefully you're not getting, you know, too muddled up with the method by now, but this is the place where we find quite a few slip-ups, so try not to make those errors. And our answer is 268, and again where did that go? We fly our number up to cover up the question, which isn't quite right, but hey, that happens, as Mrs. Ludlow and her dreadful PowerPoint skills. But I'm still learning. We're all learning here, aren't we? So our final answer is 268. Okay, now we're going to do our guide. This in class we would be copying this down. So if you want to do that onto your worksheet, that would be absolutely fine. You could write this one onto the back just to get you used to doing it. And I've got a little ruler here, and he's saying, use me. Don't be frightened to use your ruler, because you know, it's really good skills for you to build up getting these grids nice and tidy. So we're going to partition the first number, 2-digit. I keep saying the first number, it's not the first number, it's partition the 2-digit number into 40 and 6. So they go on the top row, 10s and 1s, and then we're going to put the symbol in here, and then the 8 underneath. Now we've got 8 times 4, 4 times 8. Now you could do your 4 times table and do 8 lots, or you could do your 8 times table and do 4 lots. I think that's what I'm going to do. 8, 16, 24, 32. So that's going to be 320 in there. And then 6 times 8. And if I know that was 32, that's 4 times 8. Then 5 times 8 would be 40. And 6 times 8 would be 48. Let's just add using that starting point so I don't have to go all the way back to 1 again and start from 8. It's helping me to just count on those 2 steps of 8 and 32. Saves a bit of time. So 320 is 32 tens. And what's 48? That would be, yep, 4 tens and 8 ones. And we're going to recombine 320 and 48, which would be 32 tens and 4 tens and 8 ones. Is 32 add 4 is 36 tens and 8 ones. 360 add 8 is 368. Let's see if this works this time. Woo, and it's done it again. I have a feeling I know what I've done there, and it's because I adjusted the background just before I started running this, so I'm sorry about that. Mrs. Ludlow will do better next time, and I'm sure it's going to do it the same on this one as well today. So let's have another look. We've got 90 and 7, which is 90 and 7, partitioning it along the top, and we're going to times it by the 1-digit number which is underneath. So 9 fives or 5 nines. I'm going to do 9 lots of 5. If I know that 10 lots of 5 is 50, I could do that and take off a 5, and we've done this in class to get 45, so that would be 450. And 7 times 5, well, I can count up in 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. And now I've got to recombine them, which is 450 is 45 tens plus 3 tens and 5 ones. Recombine them. Get 45 tens, add 3 tens is 48 tens, add 5 ones. 480, add 5, which is 485, and here it goes, going to cover it up again. Oh yes, fantastic. 485. So hopefully you'll do a better job with your filling in your answer after your number sentence, not on top of it today. Don't do as I do, do as I say. And we've got our steps for success, and hopefully this little guy here will help us along our way. You've definitely got this, I'm sure. So you're going to copy that number sentence neatly. If you've printed out the worksheet, then that's absolutely fine. You won't need to do that. Use your ruler. Oh, I've got use a rule. Use a ruler or a rule. It's actually another name for a rule. So to draw a multiplication grid, 6 squares across and 3 rows down. Partition the 2-digit number right on the top row, and put your symbol in and your multiplier underneath it. Use the grid to multiply using your place value. Don't forget to get those tens in with your zeros adjusted, and then you recombine the answers and making sure you don't make slip ups in that area. And then you complete your final answer back into your number sentence at the end after your equals, not on top of the sum, like I've managed to do pretty much on every one today, so I'm sorry about that. Okay, you've definitely got this, guys. Okay, hopefully you'll get that work done, and that you're going really well with it, and see you soon. Okay, bye now, bye. Oh, just before I go, oh dearie me, we've got the questions here. If you haven't printed out your sheet, then you can pause the the video in a second and write down your questions and work from this instead of printing it out. Okay, now I'm finally going. Okay, bye for now.